Now, this Friday, our museums and galleries will be keeping the doors open late so you can experience something a little bit different. It's all part of Light Night. And one of the things you'll be able to see is at the Museum of Liverpool. It's the Roman Medicine Roadshow. Sounds good, doesn't it? And to tell us more about it, Dean Patton from Big Heritage and Shirley Curtis Summers, who's a top bone specialist from the University of Liverpool, have popped in to say hello and tell us all about it. Hello, folks.
Hello.
Hi, Sean, you all right?
So, first of all, Dean, tell us exactly what's happening on Friday.
Well, Big Heritage exists to engage people with Britain's amazing past, and we got asked by the Wellcome Trust, who are an absolutely brilliant medical charity, to see if we can bring the history of medicine to life here up in the northwest. And we're looking at Roman medical history. It's an important period of time in medicine in terms of the kind of advances that they made, the scientific advances they made. So we're exploring that at the Museum of Liverpool in a really, really great setting with a few really fun and very interesting and scientific engagement projects.
Right. So what will people be able to see? It's very much hands-on.
Well, you can't have medicine without some injuries, so we're bringing a team of gladiators along. There's going to be some full-size gladiator battles in the museum.
Right.
Galen, who is the kind of most important figure in Roman medicine, he was a doctor to the gladiators. And don't forget, at this time in the Roman period, you weren't allowed to dissect dead bodies, so you couldn't really experiment and learn about the body. So Galen described the injuries by gladiators as a window into the body. So we're bringing the gladiators along. There's going to be some wounds there. So Coco Rouge, or a Liverpool makeup artist team, they're going to be putting injuries not only on our gladiators but young people as well. Come along and get a big slash across the belly or a black eye. Oh, very, very nice.
Sounds very encouraging.
But it's okay because we've got Galen with us as well. We've got Galen, the wandering doctor, who's going to be doing first century style embarrassing bodies for us. So if you've got any dodgy rashes, you can tell Galen and he'll tell you what the Romans would have done. And then we've also got a tool maker who's shown how the Romans made for the first time really, really good quality medical implements. And something really special is Shirley's coming along from the University of Liverpool. She's our bone boffin for Friday and the Saturday, where she's going to be telling us how people can learn about medicine and healing in the past by looking at bones and skeletal material.
Well, just to bring Shirley in, a very good morning to Shirley.
Good morning.
Now, you're a bone specialist. What can you tell from ancient skeletons, then? Is it there for all to see?
Oh, well, there's many things you can tell from ancient human skeletons. One of the first tasks that we do as osteoarchaeologists is to determine the age and sex and height of an individual, and then you can look at evidence of diseases and trauma. So, for example, osteoarthritis, blade wounds, fractures, all these kinds of things. Another thing we can do is chemical analysis. So stable isotope analysis. You can recreate the types of foods that people consumed in the past.
Right.
So when we eat foods, we absorb carbon and nitrogen elements in our bones and teeth, and you can analyse them to reconstruct the type of foods people were consuming. So we can bring all that evidence together and recreate aspects of health, disease and diet in the past.
So you can tell all that just by looking at bones and death?
You can tell the age and sex and trauma, diseases by looking at bones. And then with the diet, you need to do some kind of chemical analysis. So it's extracting bones and analysing them for levels of carbon and nitrogen. So that's not a visible examination, that's more chemical analysis.
Right. I mean, whatever the Romans did, medicine's definitely one of the big things. How important were their discoveries, do you think?
Oh, I think really important. I mean, the Romans were influenced by Greek medicine in a big way, and they were very much sort of preventative measures rather than sort of groundbreaking sort of surgical experiments.
And I think also the Romans were certainly Galen is famed for his writing for saying, hang on, it's not all about the gods, it's not all about luck. We've got to look at what causes these diseases and monitor the patient and their symptoms. So it was a case of kind of the first kind of steps of science in terms of observing a patient, observing the symptoms and treating it based upon them observations. So the Romans brought things a lot from Greek medicine, but certainly as a military society, then you've got to have an army that's got to stay healthy, it's got to stay on its feet, and it's got to stay alive. So obviously that necessity is the mother of invention. So they've got a need, a desire to kind of advance medicine, and to be honest, it's not until the kind of 19th century that some of the kind of medical procedures that the Romans had invented started to be advanced with the kind of things like inoculations and things. Though it wasn't until that 19th century period where anyone really advanced what the Romans were doing in the 1st, 2nd century AD.
So you're going to be bringing along some bones for people to look at as well?
Yes, we have some bones with some interesting pathologies on them, so evidence of trauma and disease, different types of diseases. So they'll be seeing evidence of fractures and things like osteoarthritis, blade wounds. So they'll be able to see a range of different diseases and trauma on the skeletons.
I think this is a really good way, though, of getting a history lesson across with a bit of fun involved, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, what we're going to be doing is our gladiators, if any of them received any head wounds, we're going to be performing a live trepanation in the middle of the museum. So that is pretty much Roman brain surgery. So Galen's going to be performing that brain surgery on our gladiators, and then Shirley's going to be there on hand to tell us how this would manifest itself on the skeletal evidence afterwards. So we're getting a kind of 1st century and a 21st century view. So great fun, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, but that's what Big Heritage do.
It's very ghoulish, Shirley, isn't it? It's very ghoulish.
It's very ghoulish,
It is,
but
really.
all in good fun and education also.
Absolutely it is. So tell us when and where.
It's going to be at 4 till 8 on this Friday at the Museum of Liverpool, and then all day on Saturday, so come down and have a bit of fun.
Well, Dean Patton and Shirley Curtis Summers over at the museum. Be sure to go along, as he says, a bit of fun, but there's a lot to be learnt by going along to see the... what are we calling it? The Roman Medicine Roadshow.
That's it. Wellcome Trust Roman Medicine Roadshow.
Folks, great to see you and have a great time.
Thank
Cheers,
you very
Sean.
much.